That's not a problem. All right. Got some pork here. So this is 3.47 pounds of pork, and it's $10 at HEB. Not actually a decent price. It's the 19th of August, 2025. It's actually, I got a little bit less for around the same price. I think it was back in April. But anyway, I'm making some PBL. I like to think about the price of this stuff too, because it's not, this is relatively cheap for what you can do with it and how much you get of it. This is going to be cochinita pibil, or slow roasted pork. So first thing, I'm going to take a lot of this fat off. There's a big fat cap, which isn't that big of a deal because it just comes right off with the nice knife. Just take off these big chunks. I don't need these big pieces of fat. Don't really do anything for me. So this is not even, I thought, oh, I had to unfold it a little bit. It's stuck together. It's one whole piece. Not a problem. We're going to cut this into little cubes. So I'm going to start at this little narrow end. Take it down about like that. May want to cut off a little bit more of that fat. Not a problem. Most of this fat will dissolve because I'm going to be cooking it low and slow. So I'm going to get a piece about what? 3 inches by 3 inches. I'll cut it into halves. And then cut that into a half. Because I'm cutting it into pieces for 2 reasons. So that way it's easier to handle. And when I put it into, when I make a taco with it, it'll fit into a tortilla with nice pieces instead of having longer pieces that you have to cut up. It's already cut up. It cooks a lot faster. I could cook it whole. I don't think I would. I mean, if I had the means to, the way you're traditionally supposed to do this is stick it in the ground and cut it, or cook it that way for a long period of time. Because what's meant to happen is you take this, you set it up for the day, you stick it in the ground, and then you go out in the fields and you work. You go work on your farm. Then at the end of the day, you come back and you have dinner ready. You just dig it up, start eating. So the thing I've noticed, the thing I thought about the most watching a luau when we were in Hawaii is the star of the show, aside from like the band and the singers, was a pig. They had a whole pig in the ground, probably about 4 feet into the ground. I'm trying to visualize it, because these guys are a little bit shorter than me, but they're up to their waists. So, you know, about 4 feet into the ground. And they stick it in the ground and they let it cook. Because they stick it in the ground, and then you go and you farm, or you go out and you fish, and then you come back at the end of the day and you have food. If you didn't catch any fish, I guess. But you can have this as a side. There's a big piece of fat there. So I'm just trying to figure out what the best way to cut this is. This is the easiest. It has steps, but really it's just time. This part takes about 15 minutes to get everything stood up and then marinating, because we're going to let this marinate overnight. It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. This is going to be my dinner tomorrow. Actually, I'll probably just have a late lunch, early dinner, whatever. Gotta let this marinate. I like to let it marinate for at least 18 hours, preferably 24. I've never let it go further than that, just simply because I just hadn't had the time to do it. Let me cut down this way. So there's a lot of fat right here. There we go. It's okay to have some fat, but like all of this really extraneous fat, it should melt down. A lot of it should, but sometimes you'll just hit like a chunk of fat. And who wants that? It shouldn't taste, it should all taste pretty good, but you know, it's fat. You don't want to sit there and chew on fat. Maybe you do. I don't. We're not going to take all of it off, just the really big chunks of it. Don't need them. Okay, now it's slightly more manageable. So I'm cutting about 1/2 inch chunks and then cutting it down into thirds. So you end up pieces like this. Pieces like this will dissolve more because of that fat in it. So those are perfect sizes for a taco. That's all I'm worried about. I'm going to make some fresh tortillas tomorrow while I'm waiting on my pork to cook. I'm going to cook it for about 3 hours or so. So I got plenty of time to make tortillas because that only takes about an hour. Almost done. This is a little bit thicker, so I'm going to cut 4 pieces. So there's a little bit too much fat on this cap, not a problem. There's a lot of fat right here. Just look at it and see. Cut off a little piece and see, because sometimes you'll cut off what you think is a big fat cap, but it's actually just but not in this case. It's just the very, very top, but it just depends. You just kind of have to feel around and look. All right. Ooh. It's pork, so it's going to be greasy. I've tried this with chicken. I did it with chicken thighs. Chicken thighs, really good. Pork is the best because pork can handle it. I'm looking at my recipe here. Pork can handle it, but you know. Chicken I did in a quick pot with the same one. It comes out really good. Never tried it with beef. I assume beef would work. I think you get like a roast, maybe. Okay. But pork is the go-to. All right. Actually, let me get my board back for a second. So this is the achiote paste. This is the star of the show. I forgot to put autofocus on, so maybe it'll be focused. I doubt it, but there we go. So any good YouTuber would actually check the focus. I don't have people to run cameras and stuff. I do everything. This is a one person shop. So this is the achiote paste, El Mexicano. This is the red one. So it comes out like that. It's an earthy brick. I just cut it into a bunch of small pieces so it'll dissolve better. And then cut it into, just cut it into cubes. Smaller the better. The smaller it is, the quicker it will dissolve. So like that, how well you can see it, it's sort of stuck to the board. So there we go. So I stick this into a measuring cup because I need a cup of orange juice and a half a cup of lime juice. So like this is like just over, after I cut the fat out, probably around 3 pounds of pork. So that, let me get my orange juice and lime juice. Orange, I think that's right. So 1 cup of orange juice. Get about eyeball. And lime juice, Best Buy, $8.25. So we still got time. Give it a good shake. And I need a half a cup of this. There we go. And then the rest will go to make my onions. I'm gonna pickle some onions, but that's another video. So I like to stick it all together like this so I can dissolve my pork, my achiote paste. The pork will dissolve a little bit once I get it cooking. That'll be tomorrow. And then this is acid, right? Because we have orange juice and lime juice. So we have a bunch of acid together. So that's going to help break down the fat and sinew in the pork. And then slow roasting. I'm going to cook it at 200 degrees for about 3 hours, a little over 3 hours, but that's tomorrow. But first I got to let it sit. So it's going to cook, I'm not going to say twice because you wouldn't eat the pork after you've let it sit in the lime juice for a while. I wouldn't. But it's part of the cooking process because the acid breaks down the pork a little bit. Mostly it breaks down, like I said, the fat and sinew. So it makes it tender. It allows the flavor to permeate through all of it. And that's what makes it extra tasty. Hopefully. I've had very good luck with this recipe. I've only had pibil at like 2 or 3 restaurants in the Houston area, and mine is better. I would love to try somewhere in Houston that has pibil that's better than mine, because there's gotta be a place in Houston. Houston's a big city, large Hispanic population, large Mexican population. So if anybody knows a good place to try, that's good. It's about halfway dissolved now. Good place to try this. I am all ears. I love to try somebody who really does it well. I love to try it because, like in Hawaii, when we had the luau and we tried the pork that was in the ground, that pork was nice, sweet, soft, and tender. It was really good. So stir this around for a moment, get this stuff dissolving, break it down a little bit more. Make sure everything is nice and covered. Of course, the orange juices and the lime juice is straight from the fridge, so it's ice cold. So, of course, it's ice cold on your hand. But we're about to dump it back in the fridge again because it's going to sit there overnight. So, not that big a deal. Just, you know, one of those things where you're like, ooh, it's cold. My hand's cold. Nothing to be alarmed about. So, and a few more dry ingredients to add in. Going to add a cinnamon stick. cinnamon stick, a whole cinnamon stick. I just stick it in. Gonna need 3 cloves, 3 whole cloves. A tablespoon of oregano. How much cumin? 1 1/2 teaspoon of cumin. So boom, this has a 1 1/2 right here. Oops. This is the brand new cumin I just bought because the last time I used it, I was almost out. And then I used cumin for another recipe. Garlic, that's right. Salt. Salt, you don't need a whole lot. So I just put in a teaspoon of salt. That may actually be too much. But you don't need a whole lot of salt, and then you can always add salt after for taste. With everything else, you're pretty good shape already. I've got plenty of garlic. I thought I didn't have any. I started to think, oh, what am I going to do? So I need 10 garlic cloves. So this is a decent amount of garlic in here. So I'm just going to take everything out of here. I know. Why do you put the garlic from the jar? That's not as good. You should use blah, blah. I know. This is what I have on hand. This is more convenient for me. Works out okay. It's not the best garlic. You're supposed to put fresh garlic and this, I know. Ideally, use fresh garlic, crack your own cloves. I get it. So that's all the ingredients. A cup of pork, which in this case is 3 pounds, cup of orange juice, half a cup of lime, 3 cloves, 1 cinnamon stick, 10 garlic cloves, 1 tablespoon of oregano, 1 1/2 teaspoon of cumin, about a teaspoon of salt. You can add more later if you need it. We're going to be eating this with pickled onions, which has salt in it, so you really don't need a whole lot of salt. And the achiote paste really carries its own a lot. So I'm gonna mix it around just a bit more because I had to get all those flavors together. Try to get it down there. Try to get it down there. Okay, try to get it down there. Make sure it's nice and covered, because like I said, part of the process is this just sitting in this marinade overnight. Ideally, I've had the best luck with it being around 24 hours. So the edit right now will be me tomorrow around the same time. Next morning, everything's looking good. Let that sit for a moment. I gotta get out my banana leaves. You don't have to use banana leaves. You can just cover. I don't know if I have enough. So I think I'm gonna put aluminum on the bottom and then these on the top. This may be enough, but I forget how many were in here. I bought a bag of them, and then used half, and then the other half I froze. So then when I need them, I knew I was doing this today, so I took them out of the fridge a day ago, let them defrost, and here we are. There we go. So it's like 3 or 4. Yeah, I'm gonna line the bottom with aluminum, just out of I mean, either way, this pot's going to get dirty. I'm going to wash this pot later, but anything that'll help the cleaning process along is nice. You could just do it. Banana leaves are nice because banana leaves kind of steam it up. But if you don't have banana leaves, you don't have access to them, you can get them on Amazon, but they're a little bit expensive. There's an H Mart, or no, well, there is an H Mart, but I got them at the 99 Ranch in Houston off of I-10, and they have them for like $4, so they're really cheap. If you can get those, that's the best way to go. But you can order them on Amazon. I've done that before, many times. But aluminum foil works perfect. No real worries, because what we're doing here is cooking it real slow and then capturing all of the steam, because this is like steamy, and then it allows it to get soft. Because we're cooking it at 250 degrees. We're preheating the oven right now. 250 degrees for at least 3 hours, because we need to permeate all of this. This is room temperature, so it's like 70 degrees. And then this has been in the fridge for about 20 hours, so it's really cold. If you see stuff that you don't need in there anymore, like the cinnamon stick, go ahead and grab it and dump it out. If you can find the clove, like here's one clove, go ahead and chunk them. And I just lay out the pork as flat as possible, so that way it cooks evenly. I found another clove. There's a third one. All right. I think there's one more, I think. So lay these and this next to each other and lay them out flat as possible. I try not to overlap them, but depending on how much you have, you may overlap a little bit. We're slow cooking, so it doesn't matter as much. But, you know, slow cooking for this stuff should work out pretty well. I was wondering how easily I could squeeze all this stuff. Ooh, there's a piece I missed. This is really the hard fat. You don't need that. It's almost like a bone. That will cook down a little bit, but it won't taste good. There's the last clove. I found all the cloves. Take those out, because you're going to forget about them and then bite into one by accident. It's not going to taste good. It's going to taste pretty nasty, as a matter of fact. Don't do that. So stuffing all this in here as good as you can. There's a lot of slack in this, actually. There we go. Because that's the corner. Kind of take the slack out. There we go. Okay. Have that. So like I said, this is about, after I cut the fat out, about 3 pounds. So it's a decent amount of meat here. But like, this is going to be dinner, lunch dinner today, lunch dinner tomorrow. If there were more people here, it would be better. It would go through faster, but it's just going to be me. So this should last me for a few days, which is good. You have a really nice hearty meal that you made for like $15, about $15, getting all the stuff from the store. And you have like 5-6 meals, and not like crap. I eat fast food as much as the next guy, but like, this is a much heartier meal. And you made it yourself, and it's not that, it looks impressive, but it's super, super simple, which is nice. That's always a plus. I think I could have gotten away with just using the leaves, but I don't want to risk it. And I've been meaning to do this with banana leaves anyway, or with aluminum foil, and banana leaves, do them together. Yeah. So the key here is just put it down over the top and make it so everything is completely covered and not sealed. You're never going to seal it tight, but you want to get it in there as tight as possible and just have it so all of the moisture out of here with the heat will react and it'll just steam up. All that steam helps it cook, right? So run the water in this a little bit. I gotta clean this stuff for the next step. I don't have to. I'm going to make tortillas for this because if you're gonna go through all this work to make this, eating with fresh tortillas is the way to go. Homemade, fresh. If you have somebody who can make them for you, that's even better. I don't. So I just make them myself. If you have a place that makes them, that's great, but you don't have to make it. H-E-B is good. H-E-B, I eat them, H-E-B tortillas a lot, just simply because of the time. It's easier to me to just buy them than to make them. But making mine tastes better than almost any tortilla I've ever had. So that's the way to go. Always make your own if you can. Oven's almost at the temperature I need. Oh, there it goes. I'm putting it 250. We're gonna put it in there for 3 hours and check it by then. Usually 3 hours is about right in the oven. So this is on, this is tight, everything's covered. Our pork is in there. We're gonna put it in and then we'll be back in 3 hours to check on this sucker. The house should start smelling good within about 45 minutes once everything gets up to temperature. And yeah, it's 11:03. I don't know why you can say 11:03. Set a timer for 3 hours. All right, we'll be back. Go ahead and take this pork out. It's been just over 3 hours now. I was in the middle of making the tortillas and the pork is ready. So let's take this. Ooh, nice and steamy. Ooh, just working. There we go. All right. Pork. And in the middle of this, in the real world, I'm making the tortilla. So that one's almost done. So yeah, this is it. It smells delicious. It makes the house smell so good. Let me grab a fork. There we go. Okay. All right. Yeah. That looks good. Let me get a plate. Grab a hunk and put it in a bowl. Let it cool off for a moment. Perfect. All right. Okay, if you can smush it, we can focus. Oh, did I not have it in focus this whole time? Whoopee, welcome to YouTube. First day. If you can smush it like this, and that's it, with a fork, without any effort, you're done. So I'm gonna let this cool for a moment. Where's my gloves? There's my glove. Take the glove, you can turn the oven off, and take this, put this back on. I'm not worrying about losing heat from that, but you know. Get Walter in there, or not Walter. Oh, Walter is one of the names, but Waldo. So, the pork. The key, can you squish it with your fork? If you can squish it with your fork like that, it's done. That was 3 hours at 250 degrees Fahrenheit. Nice low and slow. Look at that. It smells fantastic. This is the best thing I make. Fantastic. Soft, savory, that earthy aroma, but it's not overwhelming. It's just so tender and sweet. Oh, perfect. I would put this up against anybody's. I'd love to try somebody who makes it better than me. I want to know how to make this even better. There's always something you can do, right? So, cheers. This is my lunch dinner type thing. It's like 2:30 in the afternoon. So, I'm gonna eat.